Okay, so lately I went from handling the belief of mental illness and defending myself against aggressive mental suggestion and mental malpractice, and thinking that the reason why I haven't been is dealing with apathy, right? So I did a couple of articles on apathy and a delving into the pastor mini sermon on apathy. What's funny is that these are like these ones on apathy are the least viewed videos of late. So maybe apathy is trying to do something. Anyway, so the answer to apathy and to answer to all this is joy. So I delved into our periodicals big time. And I've got three or four articles around joy that are amazing. And this is the first one. It's called The Fullness of Joy by Rosemary Cobham, June 2nd, 1956 issue of the Christian Science Sentinel. The Fullness of Joy. Are you known by your joy? This is a question we may well ask ourselves from time to time. The psalmist wrote of God, Psalm 16, number 11. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Where is God's presence? Is it here, but not there? Was it yesterday, but not today? No. God is everywhere, present, and is all the time present. So the fullness of joy is everywhere and all the time. If we seem to be without joy, we need to become more spiritually aware of the presence of God. Christian Science makes practical God's omnipresence and the coexistence of God and man as mind and its idea. Our leader, Mary Baker Eddy, says in Miscellaneous Writings, page 195 and 196, the eye will go to the Father when meekness, purity, and love, informed by divine science, the Comforter, lead to the one God. Then the ego is found not in matter, but in mind. For there is but one God, one mind, and man will then claim no mind apart from God. And she adds, idolatry, the supposition of the existence of many minds and more than one God, has repeated itself in all manner of subtleties through the entire centuries, saying as in the beginning, believe in me and I will make you as gods. That is, I will give you a separate mind from God, good, named evil. And this so-called mind shall open your eyes and make you know evil, and thus become material, sensual evil. But bear in mind that a serpent said that, therefore that saying came not from mind, good, or truth. Just as there is only the one God, so there would claim to be the one devil, the serpent, operating in various ways to make us believe that we can be thrust from the presence of God and lose our joy. But whatever the joyless claim may be, whether lack, sorrow, discordant relationships, or disease, we must bear in mind that a serpent said that. If a child threw a stone at us, we would deal with the child, not the stone. So when some joyless circumstance arises, we need to resist the temptation behind it, the temptation to believe in separation from God, the source of all good and all fullness of joy. We're apt to think that depression is caused by this circumstance or that, but depression is the venom that the serpent through aggressive mental suggestion injects into consciousness. It starts its victim ruminating, and then the door is open for destructive thoughts of self-pity and self-centeredness. At the first suggestion of rumination, we need to wake ourselves up. And how do we keep ourselves from rumination? By doing the opposite. And what is the opposite? Communion. Communion with divine love, whose children we are. Communion is observed and preserved through the Christ. A part of the office of the Christ, as set forth by Isaiah 61:3, is to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Let us ask ourselves whether we are turning to the Christ or to the serpent. If we turn to the Christ, we can be sure that we shall receive the oil of joy, and gratitude will flood our being. Gratitude for spiritual facts in spite of material seeming. Gratitude for our spiritual birthright of freedom. Gratitude for the simple, uncomplicated, all powerful truths of being. Paul and Silas expressed gratitude when they were cast into prison. They wasted not a moment ruminating and did not confine themselves to praying, but also sang praises, and they did it at midnight. Let us remember to do the same in our midnight hour, and we also shall enjoy their reward. For we read in 16:26, suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. As we patiently, persistently, and above all, joyfully maintain the spiritual facts of being, the foundations of our prison, whether it is a prison of lack, sorrow, or disease, will be shaken. And not only shall we be free, but also others suffering from the same belief may find the door to freedom open. Joy is the strong wind which bears us beyond the chaos of mortal minds and prison bewilderment and into the cosmos of spiritual freedom. Joy is the light which shines out from each experience we encounter. It cannot be hid, but is seen and shared. It is the part of an experience which we can share with others. Nobody can plumb the depths of an experience which is ours alone. Nobody can share with us the battles with temptation or the holy communions with God, or trace with us the patient steps of heart searching and self renunciation which bring us through the wilderness and out of the desert. But the joy which is ours is such experiences cannot be hid. When Moses came from talking with God, his face was shining because in God's presence there is fullness of joy. Our leader promises us in First Church in Miscellany on page 149 and 150, remember, thou canst be brought into no condition, be it ever so severe, where love has not been before thee, and where its tender lesson is not awaiting thee. So there is no experience, be it ever so severe, that can separate us from joy, because there is no experience which can separate us from God. This is a spiritual, incontrovertible fact.